You already know the feeling. You don't need someone to describe it to you. That hollow moment after a conversation where you smiled, you laughed, you said all the right things, and walked away feeling completely alone. Not lonely because no one was there. Lonely because no one was really there. And that's the part no one talks about. That's the part that stays with you. This isn't about having a small social circle. This isn't about being shy or awkward or not knowing how to talk to people. You know how to talk to people. You've been doing it your whole life. This is about something deeper, something most people sense but never say out loud. Genuine friendship, real, honest, unconditional connection is becoming harder to find, not because you're broken, not because you're asking for too much, but because the world you're trying to find it in has quietly changed, and most people haven't noticed yet. Look around. You are surrounded by more people than any generation before you. More connections, more platforms, more ways to reach someone in seconds. You can send a message to 100 people before breakfast. You can follow thousands, be followed by thousands. And yet there is an epidemic of people who feel unseen, unheard, replaceable. People with full contact lists and empty hearts. People with hundreds of followers and no one to call at 2 a.m. when everything falls apart. That contradiction is not accidental. That is a symptom of something going wrong at the root. And you've probably tried to fix it. You've put yourself out there. You've been open. You've been warm. You've made the effort. You showed up to things you didn't really want to attend just to be present, just to give it a chance. And maybe it worked for a while. Surface level work. Good enough for group chats and social outings. But the moment things got real, the moment you needed something genuine, the connection dissolved. Like it was never really there. Like you were both just performing friendship without ever becoming friends. That's what hurts the most. Not the absence of people, the absence of depth. Think about how you actually spend your days. Scrolling, responding, performing, presenting a version of yourself that's edited, filtered, curated for an audience that isn't even paying close attention. You craft your words carefully. You share only the highlights. And slowly, without realizing it, you forget how to be unpolished. You forget how to be vulnerable. You forget how to let someone see the messy, uncertain, still figuring it out version of yourself. Because showing that version feels dangerous now. Because the world has trained you to believe that weakness is unattractive. That need is embarrassing. That asking for real connection is somehow desperate. So you stay at the surface. And everyone else stays at the surface with you. And everyone calls it friendship. And everyone goes home feeling hollow. This is not a small problem. This is a generation trained to connect digitally and disconnected emotionally. Trained to present and perform rather than reveal and relate. And when you spend years performing, you lose the instinct to be real. And when you lose the instinct to be real, you lose the ability to recognize realness in others. You start mistaking familiarity for friendship, proximity for closeness, consistency in messaging for actual care. You have people who like your photos but would never ask how you're actually doing. People who would show up to your birthday but not to your breakdown. People who celebrate your wins and disappear during your losses. And because this is the norm, because this is what everyone around you seems to accept, you start to wonder if maybe you're the problem. Maybe you expect too much. Maybe genuine friendship is just a childhood fantasy that adults quietly let go of. Stop. That thought is not truth. That thought is exhaustion talking. You are not asking for too much. You are asking for what every human being is wired to need. Belonging. Acceptance. The kind of closeness where you don't have to perform. Where silence isn't uncomfortable. Where someone knows the full version of you and chooses to stay. That is not a fantasy. That is a fundamental human need. And the fact that it feels rare doesn't mean it's impossible. It means the path to it requires something most people are no longer willing to offer. Depth requires discomfort. And discomfort is something this generation has been taught to scroll past. Here's what no one is saying clearly enough. You cannot find genuine friendship while hiding yourself. You cannot attract realness while performing a character. You cannot build depth by staying comfortable. Every real friendship you have ever had or ever will have was built in moments of honesty that scared you. A moment where you said something true and didn't know how it would land. A moment where you let someone see your uncertainty, your fear, your failure. A moment where you stopped being impressive and just started being human. Those moments don't happen on highlight reels. They don't happen in the comments section. They don't happen in group chats where everyone is trying to be funny. They happen in real time, slowly, awkwardly, imperfectly. They happen when you put your phone down, when you stop managing impressions and start having conversations, when you stop broadcasting and start listening, really listening, not waiting for your turn to speak, not thinking about how to respond, actually being present in someone else's experience. But presence is a skill now, and most people have lost it. You felt it. You're mid-conversation, and you can see it, the eyes drifting, the distracted nod, the notification pulling their attention away before you've even finished your sentence, and you shrink. Slightly. Quietly, you edit what you were going to say next. You make it shorter, safer, less vulnerable. Because why open up to someone who isn't really there? And they do the same with you. And everyone walks away from each other feeling like they were never quite seen. And they blame themselves. And nothing changes. This is the cycle. And breaking it requires one person to go first. That person is going to have to be you. Not because you owe it to anyone. Not because you should exhaust yourself trying to reach people who don't want to be reached, but because the quality of your relationships is one of the most powerful forces shaping the quality of your life. The people closest to you determine how you see yourself, how high you reach, how quickly you recover when things fall apart. You don't get to outsource that. You don't get to scroll your way into a meaningful life. You have to build it, intentionally, patiently, with your full attention. And that means you have to make a decision, not a dramatic decision, not a declaration, just a quiet private commitment to stop settling for shallow, to stop calling acquaintances friends because it's convenient, to stop pretending that busy is the same as close, to stop accepting the performance of friendship while starving for the substance of it. Because here's what's true. There are people out there who want what you want, people who are tired of surface level, people who are exhausted by the performance, people who would choose one honest conversation over 100 polished ones. They exist. They are looking for the same thing you are. And they keep missing each other because everyone is hiding behind curated versions of themselves, waiting for someone else to go first. So go first, not recklessly, not with everyone, but with intention, with the people who have earned a glimpse of the real you. Let them see it. Say the thing you've been editing. Ask the question you've been holding back. Admit the uncertainty you've been covering with confidence. And watch what happens. Some people will pull back. Let them. That is not rejection. That is information. That is the filter working exactly as it should. Because every person who pulls back when you get real is saving you from investing more time in something hollow. And some people will lean in. They'll respond with their own truth, their own uncertainty, their own exhaustion with the performance. And in that moment, in that small, uncomfortable, honest exchange, you will feel something you've been missing. You will feel seen. And from that seed, something real can grow. But it doesn't grow automatically. This is where most people give up. They have one real moment and then drift back into comfort. They let weeks pass. They get busy. They stop nurturing the connection because nurturing requires effort, and effort requires time, and time is the thing everyone claims to not have. You have the time. You are spending it. The question is what you're spending it on. You are spending hours every day consuming content made by strangers who don't know your name. You are giving your attention, your energy, your emotional bandwidth to platforms designed to keep you scrolling, comparing, reacting. And then you tell yourself you don't have time for depth. You don't have time to call. You don't have time to show up. You don't have time to invest in the people who could actually change your life. That is not a time problem. That is a priority problem. And priority problems are solvable the moment you're honest enough to call them what they are. Real friendship is not convenient. It was never supposed to be. It requires you to show up when it's inconvenient, to listen when you're tired, to be honest when it's easier to be agreeable, to care about someone's growth even when it has nothing to do with you, to challenge them gently, to stay when things get complicated, to choose the relationship again and again, not because it's effortless, but because it's worth it. That consistency, that quiet, sustained choosing, that is what builds the kind of friendship that lasts. Not the grand gestures, not the birthday posts. The ordinary, repeated act of showing up, of checking in not because you need something, but because you thought of them, of remembering the small things, of being the person they can tell the truth to without fear of judgment. You can be that person. You can build that. But you have to stop waiting for it to arrive already formed. You have to stop imagining that somewhere out there is a ready-made friendship circle waiting for you to find it. Connection is not discovered. It is built, slowly, through shared time and honest conversation and the willingness to be uncomfortable. And here's the thing about discomfort. Every time you sit inside it instead of running from it, you get stronger. Every time you say the real thing instead of the safe thing, you become more of yourself. Every time you choose depth over convenience, you become someone worth being close to. Because people are drawn to those who are real, not perfect, not polished, real, grounded, present, self-aware. The version of you that stops performing, that stops editing, that stops shrinking to be palatable, that version is magnetic. Not because it's trying to be, but because in a world full of people hiding themselves, someone who shows up fully becomes remarkable. That is your advantage. That is the thing no algorithm can replicate. No amount of followers can replace. The capacity to be genuinely, fully, uncomfortably present with another human being. To make them feel that in this moment, in this conversation, they are not alone. They are seen. They matter. That is what genuine friendship is made of. And it starts with you deciding that you are done with the version of connection that leaves you empty. You are done performing. You are done settling. You are done telling yourself that shallow is enough when everything inside you knows it isn't. You are not built for surface level. You are built for something real. So stop waiting. Stop scrolling. Stop hiding the version of you that people would actually want to know. Start showing up. Start choosing depth. Start being the kind of person who makes others feel safe enough to be honest. The world is full of people performing alone in the same room. You don't have to be one of them. And the moment you decide you won't be, truly decide, not as a wish, but as a commitment, not as a hope, but as a daily practice, something will begin to shift. Not overnight, not dramatically, but steadily, quietly. In the way that all real things grow. In the way that trust is built and walls come down and two people sitting across from each other stop pretending and start actually talking. That moment is waiting for you, but only you can walk toward it. Start now. Go first. Stay real. The friendship you've been looking for has been looking for you too.